The definition of progression being the process of developing over a period of time a continuous and connected series of actions or events. Now, there are lots of different ways in which progression plays out mathematically, musically, as many of you know, depending on where you're coming from in the audience. But as we were thinking about this, what really fascinated us with this idea of progression was that we often think about it as, from here to there. But in the definition of progression is this idea of process. There's a process and there's something that happens in between now and what comes next. And that is what we really were interested in, because what that process is and what those rules are that determine what comes next really determines what results, right? Especially if you look at nature, at certain mathematical, especially fractal sort of equations, you can see that very simple rules multiplied again and again and again can create very complex and intricate and beautiful systems that flourish very naturally. So that is kind of the idea of progression that we were super excited to explore. What is that in between? The rules that define what comes next. So that's what we invite you to think about over the course of the next 2 days. We're going to explore that progression. And in doing that ourselves, I think we really started to understand that for the feast, I think it's been a really interesting exercise. I shared this with some of you last night, but in looking at what are the fundamental principles and rules of a place like the feast, I think that it's about abundance. If we are, again, bring all of our talents and skills to bear, that is an abundance, right? There is an abundance of perspective, of talent, of unique capability in this room. And we want to create an experience of what it's like to unlock that for each other and for the world. That giving of just a little bit of what we have a lot of, that's the one sort of fundamental rule that we're going to explore a lot over the course of the next couple of days. And ideally, we're going to see, what insights result from that, what solutions result from that, when that very fundamental principle is applied towards really big, complex challenges like wellness, or like the future of work, or like resilience in urban cities. We're going to explore what that very fundamental, simple principle results in when we apply it towards each other and towards each other's projects over the course of the second day, when we support our amazing innovation fellows, when we learn from all of the talented, brilliant people leading workshops on the second day, and when we, in the course of even some of the silliest exercises that our creative team is going to take us through, we're going to see a progression over the course of the next 2 days of what everybody in this room is capable of, from everything from physical experiences to personal emotional experiences. So I'm really, really thrilled to have you all here to experience that sense of abundance. And I really encourage and urge you again to approach this with a sense, for a couple of days, see what it's like to open yourselves up and say, here's what I have plenty of, right? Whether it's energy or joy or smiles or problem-solving skills or the ability to make things pretty, whatever it might be, see how much amazing good that can do. Because when applied towards each other, we have a feeling that that will create the kind of system that we'd like to see and that can really drive change in this world.